This is their first of 2 feature events. 25 laps is the distance. Once again, they're about ready to go green as they head off turn number 4.
And let's see who gets the jump. On the inside, it is the 37 of Steve Kammer, and Kammer has got the hammer as he is able to get the early advantage.
Challenge is already on for second. Car 52, George Roberts out of Somers, Connecticut. Looks racy to the bottom, already making his presence known. George Fair out of Charlton, Mass. is moved into the 3rd spot. He's going to the outside to challenge for second.
And around in turn number 4, we have a problem, as I believe that is the 16 car of driven by Trainer, and also some sheet metal damage, and looked like it ran into a can opener for Ted Simpson. As that car, we have the limited late model champion to be decided. That's Andrew Hayes in the Esnotuck Community College car. And then the SK Light champion will be decided, Jeremy Sorrell, as he leads by 48 over both Nick Salva and Brandon Dion. So a lot to come here. Napa Auto Parts Fall Final Saturday. And then we will reconvene tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock for our Napa pit party and a chance for you to meet everybody.
Now Ted Simpson does make it back out with the number 32 machine, so he'll pick up at the rear of the field. The 16 also for Mike Trainer out of Tampa, Florida is back out. Green is out, and they are side by side to the bottom of turn number 1. And the 37 machine for Steve Kammer out of Stanford, Connecticut, has a little more giddy up to the advantage and takes a lead from the 52 of George Roberts out of Somers, Connecticut, right down the street here from Stafford.
And George Farrar in car number 22 has the inside position as he's able to jackknife underneath Somers. And Somers now is on the verge of losing 3rd, and that spot will go to David Sear, the California competitor.
The California kid, David Sear, has now found a home among the top 3 cars, looking for a podium finish. The 52 of George Roberts drops back to the 4th spot, but as they come off turn number 4, leader is still Steve Kammer out of Stanford, Connecticut.
They're trying to track him down, that 22 of George Farrar. So the white car looks pretty strong, but the man from Stanford is away. Steve Kammer. We have a fight for 3rd, and that spot is currently occupied by David Sear. And he has to worry about George Roberts in car number 52. I think he has the home track advantage.
Certainly does seem that way, Matt, as he's closing up the gap ever so slightly. Challenge is on for the 3rd spot. To the inside and challenging, here comes the number 52 of George Roberts. Down to the bottom, he'll challenge Sears. Almost there, as now we've got a challenge for the lead up front, Matt. Same story being told between the 22 and your current leader, car number 37.
So if this is a classroom, right now earning a straight A is Steve Kammer, as he is leading by a slender margin for the 20 George Farrar. And now scooting into 3rd is George Roberts. What a good move there as he trampolined his way into the top 3.
Roberts wastes no time at all. Once he gets into that 3rd spot, he's trying to close up the gap on 2nd. Working their way back to the line. It is 6 of 25 into the record books. Bottom of turn number 1, leader still remains car number 37, Steve Kammer out of Stanford, Connecticut. No challenges there. A little further back in the field, Matt. For the 5th spot, we had some side-by-side racing a moment ago, and that moved the 16 car into contend after a problem and an early spin. Mike Trainer out of Tampa, Florida, has now moved up to position number 5.
And Mike Sullivan definitely not giving up. He is aboard that car number 46. So he is trying to corral that number 16 of Trainer. And right now at the rear of the field, remember Ted Simpson was damaged on the opening lap. He is running 7th. Right now we have 3 cars contending for the top spot.
We sure do, and the car to watch is the 52 car of George Roberts out of Somers, Connecticut. All of a sudden, he closed up that gap, and he is all over the number 22 car of George Fair out of Charlton, Mass. So there's the top 3, and now closing in on them is David Sears, the California kid. He's back there in the 4th spot. Back to the line they come, still remain 37.
I think these drivers are getting used to the track, and nobody's getting used to it better than Roberts. He goes into 2nd with a strong move underneath Farrar, and now he is attacking George Kamer. So Steve Kamer in car number 37 has the lead, but maybe the brightest blip on the radar screen right now is George Roberts in car number 52.
George Roberts made it look so easy. He came so close to contending. Once he got there, he just motored on by, and now into the lead. He is out in front by about half a straightaway, and that's taken place in less than a circuit. 10 of 25. Less than 15 to go. Leads up on a lapped automobile. That lapped car is car number 32 for Ted Simpson out of Canada.
Boy, it's hard to believe that a couple of laps ago, George Roberts was in third as he is springboarded into the lead, and now he is trying to pull away from Steve Kamer of Stafford. So we have a couple of Connecticut guys in the top two. George Roberts from Summers, and from Stafford, Steve Kamer. And right now, running in third, trying to move in to the Connecticut contingent is at 22 of George Farrar. He is from Charlton. So New England is doing a great job here in the first 12 laps of this race.
Leader comes up on a lapped automobile, moves to the inside. That could have been a silly move for him, but he is able to get the job done. The 32 of Ted Simpson drifts up the racetrack, crosses over, down underneath the 37, and they almost touch Matt.
But that was a powerhouse move as he was able to get underneath the slower car. And so is George Farrar in car number 22 as he screeched his way underneath that 32, driven by Ted Simpson. So now trying to open up a big lead is George Roberts, but it's not happening because that number 37 car of Steve Kamer is running a pretty solid race, and he is running a pretty good line. So Roberts is unable to run and hide the way he would want to.
Keeping it at 3, leader still remains car 52, George Roberts, Summers, Connecticut. Setting the pace out in front. Battle still raging for that second spot, and the 37 is still trying to hold on for Steve Kamer. But right there with him and applying the pressure, Matt, is, well, he was going very strong earlier, but he's really closed up the gap now.
Yeah, and now we have a lap car standing between Farrar and the 19 of David Sear. But all by his lonesome now is George Roberts, as now he's doing what we had anticipated that he would do a few laps ago, and that is pull away from the 37 of Steve Kamer. Has to be careful because in his shadow is that 22 of George Farrar. So Farrar, once again, is in striking distance, so we could have a potential new changing of the guard in second place.
Certainly could, and that is where all the action is currently on the racetrack. 17 of 25, 8 circuits and counting. Steve Kamer with that number 37 car. He is being pressured by George Farrar with that number 22. Now, look at Farrar. He is able to reel him in, but he doesn't seem to have a way of getting around that 37 car to take over that second spot.
Yeah, he gets close, and then Kamer pulls away again. Farrar getting very close now. Now it is a lap car situation. Mike Sullivan in a 46. He goes up high, and that gives George Roberts plenty of room. But the battle for second intensifies between the 37 of Steve Kamer and the 22 of George Farrar. They are having a heavyweight fight in the war for second.
No question, one runs in the tire tracks of the other, coming off the second turn and down the back straightaway. Car 37 starts to pull away just a bit, but the 22 machine, George Farrar, is trying to reel him back in. Off the turn, 20 circuits complete, 5 circuits to go, Matt.
Now going downstairs is Farrar, trying to get some leverage on the inside. The nose of his car is underneath Kamer. They come together, and Kamer is able to shake him loose and continue his grip on second place.
He certainly does, and he holds that position. But all of a sudden, too, George Farrar gets a little more rambunctious. He starts to reel him back in. 4 circuits and counting.
Boy, Farrar will not give up. He has 4 laps in which to make a move to try to get into second. George Roberts is in his own dimension of time and space at the front of the field, leading by a continent over the guys at second and third. Kamer has to hold off Farrar, and here comes Farrar again. The word surrender is not in his vocabulary.
It certainly is not, but all of a sudden, steps on the gas a little bit too hard coming off the turn, spins on the front straightaway, and that will bring out the yellow. 22 of 25. And really hard to believe, but the competitor that brought out the caution is still in striking distance, Matt, as we're about ready to go back to green.
Summers has been the home of so many great drivers. Two that quickly pop to mind: Dan Avery and Todd Owen. Can George Roberts be added to that list? He gets a pretty good exit, and he is on his way as he got the jump on camera. Great getaway for Roberts.
Look at George Ferrer on the outside. He'll challenge for the third spot. Down the back straightaway. Ferrer is comfortable in the high side. He'll put the hammer down. Stephen Kamner on the inside. Battle is for second. Side-by-side racing as they head off turn 4.
Boy, it is Ferrer who has some adrenaline, and now he changes lanes. They come together, a car smoking. That looks like the 16 car, Mike Trainer.
Somehow,
so he had a lot of smoke, but no fire.
That's right. Somehow they all are able to shake it off. And believe it or not, the 22 car is still holding on to the third spot. Off the turn, down to the line. White flag is out. One more circuit around. For Somers, Connecticut, George Roberts with car number 52. He heads down the back straightaway for the final time in feature event number 1 in the Rusty Wallace Racing Experience 25-lap A main. As he comes off turn number 4, he'll take down his first career Stafford victory. Checkered flag is out, and car number 52, George Roberts, will take down the win.
It is the 37 of Steve Kammer for second, then the 22 of George Ferrer for third.
Car number